Hello everyone, I'm Amulya, Assistant Professor in Electrical and Electronics Department, Sai Vidya Institute of Technology. In today's session, we are going to see one more experiment, that is a study of PI, PD and PID controllers. This is one of the experiment in Control System Laboratory. So let us see what is the aim of the experiment. So the aim is to simulate a second order system and also study the effect of PI, PD and PID controller by considering the step response or by considering the step input. So now let us see what actually the controller is. So controller is basically, it is an element whose role is to make any physical quantity into a desired level. So controller is basically one element which will be added into the system in order to obtain a desired level. So what actually the controller will do means it is going to changes the physical quantity. So physical quantity means it may be the temperature, pressure, speed. So these are all the physical quantity, it can be controlled and in for obtaining a desired output. So the controller and the compensator both sounds to be the same. So now let us see the comparison between the compensators and the controller. So we'll see the difference between the compensator and the controller. So now first coming to the compensator. So compensator is basically, so every system, consider any of the system, it has its own requirement that is need to be maintained. So what all the basic requirement the system is having means, the first one is the bandwidth. So the system need to operate in a certain bandwidth range only. So that is the first requirement. Second requirement is the speed. So the speed is need to be maintained at a certain RPM. Suppose the speed of the system is to be rotated at a speed of 20 to 300 RPM. So this is one of the requirement. And the third requirement is transient response. So transient response is basically the disturbances which are created in the system. It may be the peak time, the rise time, the delay time and the maximum peak overshoot. So these are all we can consider as a transient response. And lastly, stability. So these are all the basic requirement every system need to be have. So for maintaining all these basic requirement or for maintaining or meeting up of all these basic requirement, we'll be using a compensators. Suppose if the system has gone above the range of any of these four requirements and again bringing back the system into a normal condition, that can be done with the help of compensators. So usually these compensators, it can be connected in the series way or it can be connected in the parallel way. So basically by bringing the system into a proper range and satisfying the parameters. So these are the basic parameter the system need to be maintained. So this is what we call it as a compensators. So we have a different type of compensators are there. One is the lag compensator, lead compensator and the combination of lag and lead compensators. So these are the different type of compensator. So now let us see what actually the controller is. So now the system is operating normally. It has met up all the requirements. So it has been operating perfectly. But let us consider this is our system. So for this system, we are going to give the input and for that we are going to obtain the output. But the output what we have obtained, it is not the desired one. So this is the actual one. So that means there is a difference between the obtained output with the desired output. So there will be a difference between obtained output with the desired output. So now when do we use a controller means it will make the system to obtain a desired output. So for that purpose we are going to use the controllers. So even though the system has all these requirements, it has met up all these requirements, but still also we are not getting a desired output or the output what we are looking for. So at certain condition we are going to use the controllers. So we have a different type of controllers are there. One is the P controller, PI controller, PD controller and the one more is PID controllers. So basically the difference between the input, the actual output and the desired output, so that will going to gives an error. So this is been operating in a closed system. So that is, we are going to take one feedback from the output and that will be fed to the input. So this feedback, it is acting as an error signal. So if you are not obtaining a desired output from the actual one, so again that will be fed back to the input. Then again there will be comparison takes place between the input and the desired output. So again the system will be keeps on running. So this is what the use of controllers. So basically using the controller, the desired output, it can be obtained by reducing the error signals. So this is what we call it as controllers. So controller is basically element introduced in the system in order to obtain the desired level by changing its physical quantities. So this is what we call it as controller. So now the controllers, it is not only helping for obtaining the desired output, it is been mainly used, all these type of controllers, it is being used for several purposes. So I'll just mention the two important need to improve by this controller. The first one is the transient response. And the second one is steady state response. So the controllers are mainly used in order to improve the transient response as well as the steady state response. So what actually the transient response means, as I told you, it consisting of the rise time, peak time, maximum peak overshoot, and also it consisting of the delay time. So now what we have to do means, by using this controller, we need to reduce the rise time as well as the peak time, and we need to give the response or the output of the system should be given in a faster way. And also the maximum peak overshoot. So this we can reduce it. The MP, the maximum peak overshoot, this can be reduced if we increase the damping frequency or the damping factor in a system. So what actually the damping factor is? Any system which has its tendency to oppose the oscillation which has been created in the system. Oscillation is basically the disturbances which are created in the system. So by increasing the damping factor, all these transient responses, it can be reduced. So this is the first thing need to be done by the controllers. So next is the steady state response. So what actually the steady state response means? So when you give input to the system, so this is your input, you are going to obtain the output having some disturbances. Okay, so this is your input. At certain time, after clearing all the transient response, your system will going to reach to the stability condition. But the system, even though if it reaches to a stability condition, but it is not the same as the desired one. So there will be a difference between the desired output and the actual one. So this difference, we call it as a steady state error. So what actually steady state error means? It is a difference between the desired response and the actual response at an infinite time it is. So this is the desired response and this is the actual. So the difference between these two, that we call it as a steady state error. It has been represented as ESS. So when you give a unit step input to a system means, and you need to get a desired steady state value of response, but due to the steady state error, so the system won't be obtaining a steady state value. So even for reducing the steady state error also, we are going to use the controllers. So this has been used for improving the transient response by reducing all the transients, and also to improve the steady state response by reducing the steady state error. So for these two purposes, we are going to use the controllers. So now we'll see each type of the controller in detail. The first one is the proportional controller. So we'll be representing that as a KP. So what actually the proportional controller means? Proportional controller is basically the output signal is directly proportional to the error signal. So output signal or the output is directly proportional to error signal. So this is what we call it as proportional controller, or a P controller also we can call. Okay, so using this P controller or a proportional controller, the steady state error ESS, that can be reduced but the maximum peak overshoot, that will be increases. Why? Because the damping factor here is zeta, so that will be reduced. And also the oscillations which are being present in the system, so that also will be increases. So basically by using this type of controller, we can able to improve only the steady state response. Only the steady state response of the system can be improved, but the transient response, that will be decreases. So this is about proportional control. Basically proportional control means the output produced is directly proportional to the error signal. So that is what we call it as a proportional controller. So next, coming to the one more type, that is proportional integral controller. Or we can also call it as a PI controller also we can call. So what is this PI controller means? Here the output is directly proportional to the error signal and also the integral of the signal. So that is what we can write. So the output produced is proportional to error signal, and also it has been proportional to integral of the error signal. So this is what we call it as proportional integral controller. So by using this type of controller, again the steady state response of the system, so that will be increased by reducing the steady state error, but again even here also the transient response, it will be decreased. Okay, so this is regarding proportional integral controller. So here output produced is directly proportional to the error signal, and it is also proportional to integral of the error signal. That is what we call it as PI controller. So next, see one more type of controller, that is a proportional derivative controller. So this we can call it as a PD controller also we can call. So here the output produced is directly proportional to the error signal, and also it is proportional to derivative of the error signal. So this is what we call it as proportional derivative controller, or we can also call it as PD controller. So now by using this type of a controller, the steady state response, it will be reduced. That is the error signals or the steady state error in this type of system, it cannot be reduced. So it cannot be reduced, so the steady state error will be reduces here. So if the steady state error it is been reduced means, so the steady state response of the system will be increases. Okay, so one important parameter can be achieved. And what about the transient response? But the transient response, it cannot be improved by using this type of controller. So why? Because the maximum peak which is being created in the system, that cannot be reduced with the help of this controller. Why? Because the oscillations created in the system, it will be keeps on increases. If this keeps on increases means the maximum peak overshoot also will be increases, and the transient response, it cannot be improved, so it will be decreases. Okay, so even in the proportional derivative controller also, only the steady state response can be improved, but the transient response cannot be improved with the help of proportional derivative controllers. So next we'll see the last type, that is proportional integral derivative controller. So usually we'll call this as a PID controller also. So in this type of controller, the output signal produced, which is directly proportional to the error signal, it is also proportional to derivative of the error signal, and it is also proportional to integral of the error signal. So that is what we call it as proportional integral derivative controller. So by using this type of a controller, we can able to increase the steady state response. The steady state response can be increased, Along with that, the transient response also can be increased. So both can be achieved by using this type of controller. So how does the steady state response is increased means by reducing the steady state error. And how does this transient response increase means by reducing the peak, maximum peak, by reducing the oscillation and also the rise time, peak time. So all the things need to be reduced. So both can be achieved only in the type of proportional integral controller. So this is one of the most commonly used type of a controllers for maintaining of the physical quantity or the parameters such as the speed, temperature, the flow of the liquid. So this is being used most commonly in the industries and also in the automatic food industries. So this is regarding the different type of controllers. So now let us see the block diagram of the system. So this is the block diagram of the PID controller. So here we are going to give the command that will be fed to the system. So this is basically, it is acting as a error detector. Then it will be acting as then it will be fed to the controller. It may be any type of controller, P, PI, PD or PID controllers. Then it will be fed to the plant. So with that we are going to obtain the response. Again the response or the output what we have obtained, again it will be fed back to the command or to the input. So here basically it will going to compare the input signal with the obtained output. So now observe here, let us take one example. Suppose the controller used in a plant where the temperature need to be maintained as 200 degrees Celsius. So here we are going to give the command as the temperature need to be maintained as 200 degrees Celsius. That is our command. So it will be fed to the error detector or to the error comparator. So then we are going to use it to the one controller. So this 200 degrees Celsius, that is our input, that will be fed to the controller. Then that will be fed to the boiler. So here we are maintaining a temperature. So process, or we can consider as a boiler also. So then we are going to obtain the output. So this output, again it will going to be compared the temperature of the boiler. So that will be again fed to the sensor. Basically here we are going to use on the feedback as a temperature sensor here, because here we are checking the temperature. So the temperature need to be maintained at 200 degrees Celsius only. So again the output of the sensor will be fed back to the error detector. So now how does the system will going to behave means, so the input need to be maintained as a 200 degrees Celsius, that will be fed to the controller. So the controller makes the process to maintain the temperature 200 degrees Celsius only. So in the output side, that is the output of the boiler, the temperature maintained, suppose if it is 190 degrees Celsius means that will be measured by the sensor, and that measured information will be fed to the error detector. So here the input and the output, both it won't be matching. There is a lag of 10 degrees Celsius. So that 10 degree lag information will be again fed back to the controller. So the controller makes the boiler to increase its temperature so that we can obtain the desired output as a 200 degrees Celsius only. So this is how the controller will going to operate in the system. So this is one example. So now let us see the simulation circuit for doing this PID controller. See, either we can do this PID controller experiment even by using a hardware kit also, or we can do it with the simulation. So now I am showing the simulation part of PID controller, and here we are considering a second order system. So now let us consider, this is our simulating circuit. So the step is nothing but it is the input, step input we are taking, that will be fed to the summer. Then this is the controller, then that will be fed to the system. So I told you here we are taking a second order system. So second order system means, so the maximum value of S in the denominator, since the value of S in the denominator is a 2, so this is the second order system, and this is the transfer function for a second order system. Then we are going to fed to the scope. Scope is basically it is output. So we are going to measure the output in various places. One is the step input can be measured by using the scope, and here the output of the PID controller can be measured by using the scope, and this scope will going to measure the entire output of the system. So now the feedback, here we are using it as a gain is acting as a feedback. So again it will going to fed into the summer. So here the comparison will be takes place, and it is going to produce us the error signal. So this is the simulation circuit for the PID controller. So now coming to the simulation part, so that we are doing it in a MATLAB. So in the MATLAB, you need to go to the file, go to new. Since we are constructing a simulation here, Simulink here, so now you need to go to the model. So now go to model. So this is one untitled window will be open. So now we need to construct our simulation circuit, so that I already shown you. So that circuit we need to construct here. So for that we need to go to the Simulink library. So here the one symbol what you can see, this is what we call it as a Simulink library. So here you can find all the components of the control system. So here I already opened the Simulink library here. Observe here, when you press this link, so this particular library will be open. So here you can see the various components are there. So now coming to the, so this is our circuit diagram. In the circuit diagram, first we need a step input, scope, summer, PID controller. So all these components that we are required, so that we can find it in the Simulink library. So this is our Simulink circuit diagram. So in this, first we need a step response. So where do we find the step response means? So observe here. So for obtaining the step response, we need to go to source. So here we'll get the step response. So here we have a step input is there. So just click here and again click right click. So one command will be coming, that is add to untitled, so that the step response will be included to the untitled window. So next, the second component in your circuit diagram, so that is we are requiring of the gain, scope and also the summer. So these are all we can consider as a commonly used block. So this component we can find it in the Simulink library. So again go to Simulink library. So all these three components, that is the scope, gain and summer, that we can use to find it in the commonly used block. So now here the gain is there, select this, right click, add to untitled. So the gain has come here. Similarly again go to Simulink library. So we need the scope here, select the scope, right click, add to untitled. Again go to Simulink library, we need a sum, select this, right click, add to untitled. So next, the next component in your circuit diagram, that is PID controller. So for getting the PID controller, again we need to go to Simulink library, go to Simulink library. So the for PID controller, that we can get it in the Simulink extracts. So you need to go to Simulink extracts. In that you need to go to additional linear. Go to additional linear. In that we'll find PID controller. Select this, right click, add to untitled. So that will obtain the PID controller also. And the last thing we required is the transfer function. So where do you find the transfer function means? Again go to Simulink library, then go to continuous in the Simulink library. So there you will find the transfer function. Select this, right click, add to untitled. So all the components which are required for the circuit we have selected here, and we need another two more scope here. So what we can do, select this, Control C, Control V, copy paste. So one scope has come, similarly one more. So totally 3 scope we required for this circuit. And also the gain, it should be in a rotated format. So how do you rotate this means? Control R, press Control R, so that you can rotate the gain here. So next thing, we need to connect all these components as it is there in your circuit diagram. So the step response or the step input should be connected to the summer, then the summer should be connected to PID controller, then the PID controller should be connected to the transfer function. Similarly, the transfer function should be connected to the scope. Then for measuring of the step input, this particular scope should be connected to the step input, and similarly this scope is measurement of the PID output. Connect here, and this is the gain, nothing but a feedback, connect it on the output side. And even here also connect it to the summer. Since the summer in our circuit diagram it is a plus and minus, how do you change the sign means? Double click over the summer. So here you will get the sign, plus plus is there, change it to plus minus, then apply OK. So that now it is the summer will be plus minus. Similarly, the transfer function, according to a circuit diagram, here we are using a second order system as a transfer function. So how do you change the value of the second order system means, before that look at the circuit. So this is the transfer function of a second order system. So here the omega n value that we are taken as 5 radians per second and zeta value we are taken as 0.3. So these values we need to substitute in our transfer function. So that is omega n square. Omega n square, the numerator value, it is 25. So now observe here. So double click on the transfer function. Double click on the transfer function. So this particular content will be open. So the numerator, it is omega n square. Omega n value is 5. 5 square means it is 25. Similarly, the denominator is s square plus 2 into zeta into omega n. S square means it is 1. 2 into zeta. Zeta is 0.3 into omega. It is 5. So that means you are going to get 3. Then again omega n square is there in the transfer function, that is 25. So this is the numerator value and this will be the denominator. Apply. Okay. So now this will be our transfer function. So now this complete circuit we can use it as a P controller, PI controller, and also we can use it as a PID controller. So how do we use this means, just by changing the values or adding up the values for P, PI and PID controllers. So now double click on this PID controller. So you need to add the values for these three integrals: proportional, integral and derivative. So firstly I am doing with the proportional controller. So I am going to consider the value of proportional controller as P, and the integral I'll make it as 0 and derivative also should be 0. So now this controller is acting as a P controller because I assigned the value only for the P. I and D will be 0. So now apply. Okay. Again you have to save here. So this is the save option. Save. So always you have to save this as .mdl. Any name you can give without any space. .mdl, because we are doing this in a model. So you need to save it as untitled.mdl. Any name you can give it without any space. Now save. So after saving this, see this is the run option. Run here. So here this is in this particular scope you can see the step input. So now double click here. So this is your step input. So by step the input will be applying to the system. Again double click on the scope 1. So here you are going to see the P controller output. So here you can see only the output of the P controller. So this is the P controller output. So now you need to see the final output. The final output we can see it in the scope 2. So this is our final scope or final output. So now double click here. So this is your output. So what I told you in the explanation, by using the P controller, only the transient responses are not reduced. Still we have some oscillations in the circuit. But the steady state response, it has been somehow been achieved by using this type of controller. Okay, this is P controller. Next, similarly, we'll change the value of a P. We can change the values of P and we can see the output by using the scope. So next I'm going to use it as a PI controller. So I'll assign the value of P as 10, I as 1. So now it is acting as a PI controller. So again apply. Okay. Again you need to save here. Then run. Now check the step input output. Step input will be same as it is because we are not changed any of the step input. It has been fixed. Now check the PI output. So this is your PI output it is. Now to see the final output, double click on scope 2. So this is your scope 2. That is the final output of PI controller. So using this PI controller, so the transient responses are not at all reduced. But the steady state response, it has been somehow achieved here. It is not achieved completely, but so in this system the transient response and the steady state both cannot be achieved completely. That is by using PI controller. So now again we'll use this as a PD controller. So we'll change the value of we'll keep the P as 10 only, I as 0 and the D controller, this I'm going to change it as 0.5. So now this controller is acting as a PD controller. Apply. Okay. Again save, run this. So here you can check the output of PD controller. So here also the transients are increases furthermore, and again we'll see the final output of the system. So this is a final output. So somehow the transient responses are reduced by using PD type of controllers. So now let us see the the last type of controller, that is a PID controller. So in the PID controller, I'll assign the value as P as 10 only, I as 5 and D controller as 1. So now apply, okay, save, run. So now check the output, final output here. So observe here, so there is no transients are present. So completely by using this type of a system, the steady state response and also the transient response both can be increased by using this type of controller. So that is why the PID controllers are most commonly used in industries, automatic food industries, and also in the robots. So there we'll be finding this type of controllers. So there will be no transients are present, and also the steady state response of the system also will be increases by using PID controller. Thank you.